What up, you lab rats? This is episode number 50, and it's Good Shit Friday. And I'm talking about 5 ways for you to land an interview on a podcast, specifically mine. Stay tuned. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Lab Rat Daily show, where we talk about the in-betweens of the main show of the Getting Lab podcast. If the Getting Lab podcast had a baby, it would be the Lab Rat Dailies, okay? So today's Friday. Every day has a theme. Today's theme is Good Shit Friday. Good Shit Friday. So on Good Shit Friday, I share good news, good vibes, shout-outs, things that are going down over here, results, things like that. And I wanted to share with you guys an email that I received from a fellow lab rat. Give it up for Dre Bailey, aka at EMIPTV. It's hella long. Okay, so Dre reached out to me through email, and he's been following the podcast for a while now. I think since he's been very vocal within the community and always giving really insightfully awesome comments and good praise and good stuff like that. And this last email that I want to show you guys is the perfect way to approach, I'd say, a content creator in which you would want to get an interview with. Okay, or land an interview on their show. Because when you can land an interview on a show, it gets you exposure, traffic back to your site, all the good things. And most importantly, it generates a stronger relationship between you two as blogger to blogger, content creator to content creator. And that's very powerful within the blogosphere. And funnily enough, Dre wasn't looking for an interview. And I already know that because he's been very genuine about his emails and his comments with me back and forth for some time, for months now. So he's been a follower, aka a fan of the show and what I create. And so I can tell now who's being a fan and who's appreciating the content and who's been following along and paying attention versus somebody who just wants to land an interview. Okay, who doesn't really care about your audience. They just want to get their name out on another podcast or another space out there. So this is not something that's going to 100% guarantee you to get an interview, but I know that this is the most genuine, most helpful way to, if not land an interview, at least generate conversation and develop a relationship that could foster into something even better than an interview. Okay, so if you allow and give yourself the space to generate a meaningful relationship with other content creators, so many opportunities can come from that. One example is me and Jared Easley, where he reached out to me and said, "Hey, you're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. I just want to tell you that." I come back and say, "That's awesome. You're awesome. Let's be awesome together." And now it's generated a bunch of these whole opportunities that I didn't even ask for. Okay. So I'm going to lay out for you guys today in this Good Shit Friday episode, kind of 5 ways, breaking down this email, using this email as an example and Dre as an example as to how you can approach other content creators if you really like their content. And you see that, you two can maybe gel, but you just haven't had the opportunity to gel and form a relationship. I would follow this. This is what I would do. Okay. So first and foremost, I would consume their content. Like I would binge it. I remember when I first discovered somebody like Tim Ferriss or Pat Flynn, I would just binge read all that stuff and listen and watch and anything that I can kind of get my hands on. Secondly, I would comment, like, and share. And I'm not the best commenter. I'm going to say that right now. I really am not. And I'm really trying to work on that. And it's just, I think because I'm like most people. I have a short attention span, and I don't take the time to sit down for a minute and write out a comment. And sometimes you have to like log in to comment, and I'm like, oh my god. And maybe I'm like on my phone, and then it takes forever to kind of log in. I'm like, forget it. I can't even leave a comment now, even though I really wanted to. But there's all these kinds of gateways to do it. But for the most part, if you really feel that getting on that person's show or getting some type of exposure from this person or getting to know this person, like, comment, and share as much as you can. Number 3, start a conversation in the comments. If you can start conversation in the comments, that leads into other more personal venues to create discussion, either like Facebook Messenger, text, or direct messaging in Twitter. I like Twitter to generate conversation because then other people can join in, right? Versus like Facebook Messenger. Other people can join in because I definitely have more followers on Twitter versus on Facebook, or I think it's pretty even, but so use whatever you want, but basically you want to initiate some sort of conversation where they kind of get to know you. I got to know Dre just through Twitter, and you can kind of get a feel for people through the things that they say and whatever. And for me, I always kind of want to feel that they can be playful. If you want to appeal to me, like, I'm super laid back, not hardcore about things. Nothing is set in stone. I do believe in being punctual and all that stuff, and being on time and being reliable, but for the most part I'm not a stickler. So you kind of get to know people through that way. We got to know each other through Twitter direct messaging, and it was in that little instance that I said, hey, this guy knows way more than I do. Maybe he's not the number one expert in SEO on YouTube, I know that for sure, but he knows more than me. And that's going to be a great example for the lab rats to consume, because if I don't know it, it's a great chance to put myself on blast and put my content on blast and see where I'm not filling in the gaps and where I'm kind of falling, so that other people can learn from my mistakes. Okay. And then number 4, this was like the right hook, right? He offered me something in this email. It was, I would say, a lengthy email, and you made your point pretty early on, and if I could make an adjustment to the email, it would make it shorter. But he basically laid out for me in this email, showering with compliments, so to be gracious, right? To be nice about it, that I was doing something wrong. And why I wasn't reaching the audience that I wanted in YouTube was because my tags were off and my meta description was off, and things weren't lining up in the marketing and the SEO corner of the videos. And so he laid out for me in very specific examples, what it was, how he would change it, how he would suggest changing it, and then why he was suggesting that. And so he laid out very clearly, no offense taken, that, this is how it is, this is how it could be, and, here, have it. Awesome. I want you to succeed. Awesome. We're both content creators, and I'm just here to help. And I appreciated that honesty and generosity to help, and actually reach out and take the time to write that email and say, hey, you could do a little better, right? I love everything you're doing. Good job on that fact, but I think you could tweak this up a bit. And I really appreciated that. Like, I think we get too kind of complacent as content creators, and even though we like somebody's content, we're not really taking the time to do that extra step. And that extra step sold me on his character and his honesty. And so I said, hey, you're the perfect person to come on the show, and I can be myself and you can be yourself, and you can teach my audience something. And that's beneficial, is what my friend Jared would call, that's a win-win. So, and number 5, lastly, is to be gracious. Like, if you see something wrong, like, once you don't really know that person yet, right? So you can't be like, that's stupid, don't do that. Be gracious about it. He was very good at being gracious about it. There's plenty of compliments. Thank you. that always helps. If you can boost that content creator's ego for a minute to make them feel a little bit better about, oh, they're doing it completely wrong, that's awesome. And that the fact that you took the time to think about that, I appreciate that, man. So from one content creator to another, thank you. I really appreciate it. And some really good news, because I had to shoot this video twice because I had such good news to share. After interviewing Dre, because he came on the show, we interviewed him earlier today, and I was convinced that he really does have a lot of energy and drive to bring to the table to the show, the Lab Rat Dailies. And so I invited him to be a until further notice permanent co-host with me on Good Shit Friday, because I really wanted to do this for a while. I just didn't have the right person to fill that role, and I could tell in the interview with him that he's driven, that he's honest, that he's willing to go there with me and be there with me every week. And so we're just going to see. We're just going to roll with that, have fun with it. And I hope to bring you guys better content with his input on the show. So it just goes to show that when you reach out in a good way and you reach out with heart, that can be rewarded in, I think, a good way. And it's not just, oh, this is awesome for him. He's got a channel that's way more successful than mine. So I'm really hoping to piggyback off of his success. But this is just us working together as a team. And I really love that part of YouTube and doing more collaborations. So I'm super pumped, guys. I'm pumped to bring you the next episode of Good Shit Friday, which kind of seemed like a little, it was kind of like the things that I couldn't fit in anywhere else, but now it's going to really be Good Shit Friday with purpose, with me and Dre co-hosting together and having a good time teaching you guys something valuable, some good shit, right? Okay, so there you have it, those 5 things. 1 was, consume their content. 2, comment, like, share. 3, start a conversation, take it across platforms, get into, whatever Facebook Messenger or direct message where it's just you one-on-one talking, where you can actually, be yourselves. Number 4, offer something. Offer something of value and give specific examples on how you can help them for free, right? Don't expect anything in return. Just say it for free. This is all good. Like, just be gracious about it. Number 5, be gracious, compliments. Content creators love compliments. They want to know that the effort that they're putting into their content is appreciated. When you say, that's awesome, you rock, I'm a fan, that really, really helps. Okay. So those are the 5 things to land an interview on a podcast, specifically mine. All right. So good things, guys. That was this episode for Good Shit Friday. A couple of things. I got a new book called Primal Branding. I'll break that down for you on Cozy Sunday, as well as the end of this book, which I know you're dying to know. What is it? And what else? Also look for Dre's interview with me, my interview with Dre on Saturday, the Weekend Warrior tomorrow, where we talk about how to, some very specific steps on how to SEO your YouTube videos. All right. So good things. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And as always, my name is Megan, reminding you to get in the lab. We'll see you next time. Peace. Cut.